I put it this. Okay, so this is going to be just a short little 15-minute episode. But what I want to talk about today is I've been thinking about goal setting a lot. This is going to come out after the first of the year. And there are three things that ultimately you can say, right? There's three ways to say something: a statement, a question, or a story. So if you have a statement, and this is all related to goal setting, you can go read this in one of my articles. It came out, I think, December 26th, 7th. So it's on LinkedIn. You can go read it. But there's three things that you do. You can do statements, questions, or stories. So when we talk about goals, and I came to this in writing sales letters and learning like sales letters, how to craft all this stuff, which is a ton of psychology and a ton of just structure of selling people stuff. So with statements, no matter what, you're going to basically accept or deny whatever the statement that's made. So, because in sales, you want to have like stacks of yeses, right? You want to be like, you want to relate to people and you want to have stacks of yeses so that they ultimately say yes to whatever it is you're offering. So in proposals and presentations and all this stuff, you probably do this incorrectly. And I know you're disagreeing with me in your mind right now, but like if I say the sky is purple, right, you're going to disagree with that, right? Or the sky is orange, right? You'll disagree, right? When I talk about the sky, you're going to have a thought that goes through that it's blue, right? Like that is always going to, like, you'll find ways for it. And if I say Trump or Biden, you're going to have a thought one way or the other around that statement. And so when we talk about goals in the context of goals, a statement is just that, right? If you look at your list of goals and like, I want to make $1 million, I want to have a six pack, I want to be, you know, 12 girlfriends. Like if you're single, right? I want like 12 girlfriends next year, like whatever your thing is, right? Like you'll look at those statements and say, like, your brain will have an answer, yes or no, to them, which is why for goal setting, you want to have stuff that is believable so that your brain believes that that thing is achievable. Now, for the overachievers in the group, which, I have been guilty of this my entire life, but is whatever that goal that I set has been higher than my brain actually believed, right? Because you're told to think big and all this stuff. So, but that statement is in direct conflict with what your brain actually believes. So you have a problem with that. Then when it comes to stories, right? And because we are as humans built to listen to stories, like we're just innately, that's why you listen to this podcast, because it's a story and you want to listen to it, right? That's why some of the best movies of all time are some of the best told stories. And frankly, most of us really suck at storytelling. So you should never frame your goals in the of a story, but you should visualize what that is, because that is telling yourself a story just with pictures in your mind, right? And we are innately wired to believe stories. So, okay, that's cool. You're not going to write the story, but you need pictures. That's why you do a vision board, right? That is the story that's telling your subconscious mind in picture form. Cool. So don't do statements, do vision board for that story, right? Because you're not saying that you're saying that you're gonna have that at some point, or that you'll have the ability to live that life, right? You're telling yourself the story that you'll get there. So I came to this thing because with questions you have to answer them, right? Your brain has to answer a question. If I say, how big's an elephant, you're gonna go start thinking about how big an elephant is, right? You're gonna try to answer that question. Your brain will do that by default, which is why most of the time in a presentation or a um, conversation, you don't want to ask questions that you don't know the answer to, right? Or you don't want to ask a question that will lead people down a path that you do not want to go down. And again, we are typically very bad at this. But if you phrase your questions or your goals in the form of a question, and these are what and how statements. What do I need to do to achieve goal, right? What do I need to do to achieve $1 million in net profit next year, right? What do I need to do to be 180 pounds and 10% body fat, right? What do I need to do to bench 500 pounds, right? Or whatever it is. Like, what do you need to do to blank to goal? Or how can I, make $1 million in net profit next year, right? Whatever those things are. How do I take home 500K? How do I take home 200K? How do I save 100 grand? Right? Whatever those things are, how do I goal? Right? What do I need to do to goal? Then it's not saying that you have it or don't have it. It's not future pacing it or saying that you already have it and your brain trying to like fight you, whether like I will make $1 million in 2023, right? Your brain's like, no, you're not. You're broke as shit, right? Whatever it is, or like, oh, we're gonna, super exceed that. Like there's all sorts of, which is why most people don't achieve their goals, because your brain is in direct conflict with that statement. So if you ask the question, your brain will always go to find answers. Then you're never against yourself in achieving goals. So if you ask it in the form of a question to yourself, how do I, or what do I need to do to goal, then you're going to be more likely to achieve the thing. And if you put that on repeat of how and list out your goals, right? Like for me, my big goal for next year is how do I become world class in lead generation? Because lead generation leads to everything else, right? Anything monetary, anything like, and then the rest of my goals end up being on a monetary basis, right? Because if I'm great at lead generation, I can separate my time and money making. They're two different things, right? I make money without time. So I have time for family and dates and vacations. And then I have money to go on those, dates and vacations and spend all this time with the people that I want to spend it with, right? Or to become a better shooter or whatever, right? I have the time, money, and ability to go and do things without tying it to my time. So if I become world class in lead generation, which is also like I wrote a post on this, it's the one thing, right? Like, what is the one thing that you need to do to fix all of the rest of your goals? And so if you can be like for me, world class in lead generation and sales in the front end, then it fixes everything else down the line, right? And with lead generation, I will separate time and money from themselves, right? Like I'll be able to generate money without time. So I hope this really helps. Like I wanted to record this because it is super crucial to goals, how you think about them. And those are the only three ways that you can communicate to somebody. You're going to do it in a statement, a question, or a story. And again, most of us are shitty storytellers. So don't do that. Do it with pictures for yourself on a vision board. It's the easiest way to do it. Statements you're going to disagree with. So, or have some argument with your brain, or you're going to go into a downtime where you don't think you're going to be able to achieve it for a minute, a moment, whatever. And your subconscious is going to go to work on that. And you don't have any like connection with your subconscious unless you're sleeping or meditation and like deep meditation. So you're never going to be able to have that direct conversation with your subconscious. So asking questions is the only way to get that through to actually make an impact for your goals. So ask questions, frame everything in the form of a question when it comes to goals. This is something like I had to connect the dots. No one has ever directly told me any of this. And then figure out what is the one thing, the one overarching goal, the one piece. Typically, it's going to be in however you make your money that you can do or improve upon to make more, because then it solves everything else, right? We live in a monetary world. So whatever that is for you, find that one thing that you need to become great at in money making. It might be a technical skill. It might be, a credential or whatever to make you more money. So how do I blank, or what do I need to do to goal are the two questions to achieve your goals in 2023.